Hey, what's going on? So I wanted to make a video just kind of sharing a new indicator that I built using Chat GPT. And so I just wanted to share that if you're not using GPT to build indicators for TradingView, I feel like um, like you're definitely missing out. I have no idea how to do PineScript or Python or anything like that. But if you can just prompt your way to what you're trying to do, and if you can get a um, copy of a script that you like on TradingView, and then you can actually start creating it. And so I've had a few iterations here. It didn't quite work out the way that I wanted, and so you kind of have that back and forth with GPT, which is really cool. And I was able to kind of build something which I'm going to kind of try out here and everything. But I built two indicators so far, and so I'm just sharing that, like, hey, this is possible. I haven't published these; they're not for sale. I don't think I will publish them. They're just going to be for me personally. But I built an indicator a couple months ago. Well, I guess I'll take a step back. So one of the key things that I look for my trading specifically are HMA. So I like the HMA. I follow the VWAP, and I like the colors just to kind of remind my brain of bias direction. And then I like cumulative volume delta. And I know with TradingView it's not true CVD, because it's based on um, very low time frame changes versus actual order flow. That's fine. Like I'm not a zealot on precision. It's more about direction. And so these are kind of like the components of what I trade, right? And recently I've always played with volume profile as well, but I just never liked the way that it overlaid on the screen and all that, and I didn't want to switch to a different platform because I know there's like Delta Trader, I know there's Sierra charts and all these other things, which I like TradingView, I like everything in one place. I've used Bookmap and all that before, and for me, it's like if it's close enough, it'll work, you know. And so I have the volume profile, which I have landed on this one. I quite like this one for a 4 hour kind of standpoint. And I like the overlay, and you can kind of see everything. But like as you kind of have all this stuff on, like it starts getting kind of cluttered, right? And before I had this, I had this cloud, which is this indicator that I built. And let me just kind of take everything off so we can just focus on the indicator. Right. And so I built this like HMA cloud. And so I usually bounce between the 20 HMA and the 50 HMA. I found more success with the 50 HMA, but there's obviously more opportunities with the 20 from a scalping perspective. And so I was, using this, and you can kind of see, okay, when they're like crossing, that's, the switching, like, okay, these cross, like look for the shorts, right? Just kind of gives you like a faster directional bias. And then I would layer on more. And I think I would also have like a EMA cloud, which I don't have anymore. But it would just kind of give me like a sense of like, hey, okay, that's what that looks like. And you kind of pair it with CBD. And it's like here, this breakdown, this was the afternoon of yesterday where it broke the previous day close, and you're like, okay, well, it's breaking red. CBD is breaking red. It's a good place to go short, right? And so that's more or less like how I trade. And the volume profile just kind of helps me look at like, okay, here's like a low volume area, and you had a bunch of volume here, and it broke through. Usually, when I have like these low volume pockets, price usually either reverses or it moves really quickly. And so in this case, it moved pretty quickly through. And it just kind of kept going, blew past this high volume kind of support area and kept going. And so, you kind of use all those together to kind of see what's going on. But like as you can tell, it looks pretty crowded, right? Like there's a lot of just stuff happening on the charts. And so I decided, okay, if I want that volume profile, then I will just go back to the HMA, right? And we'll kind of use that. And so this kind of works. This works. I think one of the things that I was kind of reviewing my trades yesterday, and it's interesting, like here, like this candle, like I saw it broke above HMA, and I was like, okay, maybe we're gonna kind of shoot up and retest like this high. I think there was a high over here or something. Pre-market, I think there was the pre-market high, and I was thinking, okay, we're gonna sweep that pre-market high. And so I was looking at this, and so I noticed you see this candle, it pierces, it breaks the high of day, it sweeps everything, and it closes down red. But I didn't notice that the CVD here actually turned red as well. And so I actually got stopped out here on this, like on that big flush down, because I wasn't really, I didn't notice right away that that turned red. And I was kind of fixated on like, hey, we're above the HMA. We broke a new high. Maybe we're gonna have a nice push up, right? Ended up getting stopped out, right? People get stopped out all the time. It's not a big deal. But I was like, man, like this was the high of day, right? Pierced up, swept everything, closed down on the candle, and then CVD happened to turn red. And I was like, wow, like how could I have caught that a lot sooner? And so I was like, wow, maybe I can build like a similar cloud like I had with this VWAP, but using the CVD coloring, right? And so that was my thought, just to kind of have some visual indication of on the chart of like, hey, what does the CVD look like? And then I can look at the CVD to kind of see what the trend looks like and everything else. But at least on the price chart itself, I'll have some visual. And so that's when I went back and forth with GPT, trying to figure all that out. Had a lot of yeah, you probably like this one. This was like one iteration. I was like, okay, that's not going to work. It looks like shit. But had a bunch of back and forth. But I landed on actually just having candles. And so what I did was created this CBD candles indicator. And for it to really work, you have to display the price chart, but you have to basically just remove all the visuals, right? And so I'm still kind of, I like the clean white look on the price charts, but this is kind of interesting, and I'm going to test it out, how to kind of get used to the colors and stuff. But I thought it was kind of interesting, kind of building this out also. And the first iteration, it just had the colors were green or red, but you had no indication of which direction the price candle closed. And then so kind of worked it out to where now, if this upper half is colored, even though the CVD is red, we know that this closed up. And in here, it closed down because the bottom half of the candle is colored. And so I'm just going to give this a try for the next week, just to kind of see if it gives me just a little bit of more of a visual cheat on like, hey, like this is what the CVD is saying, and this is like where you are in relation to the HMA and volume profile and other levels, and then hopefully it'll just give me a quicker kind of decision point, because I like one of the things here is like I totally missed that this turned red. Like I saw it broke out, I was like, okay, we broke, and then so I was thinking we broke, we're above the HMA, I think we're going to push back up, but I didn't realize and I didn't notice that it turned red on that close. And then obviously just got stopped out on the open of that next candle. And so I'm hoping this will give me like an indication of like, oh, like move your stop really close, or flip, like flip really quick. I was a little bit, got stopped and then, had to wait and then went short. So yeah, that was I'm kind of responding to that. It's like, oh, I didn't notice that right away. And so I'm hoping this visual will kind of help me. And so we'll just see. But yeah, I figured I'd share. I think this was just one of those things where I had this idea and I was like, hey, let me just try to see if GPT can kind of help me do it. And went through a few iterations. You can kind of see here, went through a few iterations. This one, it's all right, but it still felt kind of messy. Um, this is not too bad actually, but didn't like it too much. And yeah, so that's kind of what it is. So if you're not using GPT to kind of test out your ideas, you can just write in plain English what you like. If you have an indicator on TradingView, if it's a community script where you can get the code, you can paste it in there as like a basis for it, and then you can modify it just by using GPT. So I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, I guess this is just for me and my personal use, but if anybody's interested, I'm happy to share. I guess just reach out or put a comment or whatever. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll be back for the Sunday prep, but just wanted to kind of share this little side project that I did. All right. Thank you.